Hey up lads and lasses, Damphyre again, back with some more Infinite Lagrange. So, as prior video, the Carillion, I know these aren't the videos you wanted, these are videos I missed, and I shouldn't have to redo these if I do them, because these shouldn't really change the meta too much. The Carillion might, but we'll see. Again, just to reiterate, I know these aren't the videos you want. I know you want the tier list. I can't do the tier list until I can get testing, etc, etc. Watch the Carillion video if you want more of an update on that. The FG300 has become a little bit of a meme, because you can build 15 of them, and then if you have all types, you can build 45, and having 45 FG300s, it's 3 CP each in a single fleet is kind of just hilarious, and oddly kind of works. I think it's just the sheer weight of the quantities that you've got going there. Try it out, it's kind of funny to watch. You do need a lot of tech points to get that going, because again, you've got 3 different variants to run. The recon type, like the Carillion recon, has been made relatively redundant now, unfortunately. Its role of being a fast-moving frigate to get into position so you can warp fleets to it isn't that relevant anymore, with the cruising speeds all being set to a max 1200. Yes, I know, Solar Whale, 10-15 minutes to get up to max speed, whatever, 10-15 minutes is nothing. Who cares? Not when it takes hours to get anywhere anyway. And again, okay, the warp speed's quite nice, I guess, but you could use that to bounce around a little bit, and that would be quicker. But yeah, generally speaking, the recon type's kind of dead. The multi-role is sort of... There's very little difference between the multi-role and the armoured type. So I would probably build the armoured over the multi-role most of the time. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. Both they fill sort of the role of being very cheap, replaceable cannon fodder, because they don't really bring much damage. They don't really bring much armour or survivability. But they are 15 and they are only 3 CP, making it the cheapest ship in the game to produce. So you can just spam them out in mass. I mean, at 15 of them at 3 CP, you're looking at, what, 45 CP for a whole load of multi-rolls? Or you can have 90 CP, you'll have all of them, including the multi-roll and the armoured. And so, you know, it's a lot of ships, though. That's 30 ships. So yeah, bear that in mind. It can be pretty decent. Just that sheer spam. There's a couple of guys in Gunboat that like doing it. I think just for the shits and giggles, as it were. Anyway, so the multi-role, we have got, you know, propulsion system here. It has got evasion on it. I do recommend picking that up. After that, going into its armor system, picking up the double HP, and you can ignore the res. It's generally not going to do too much. And then going into its weapon system. Now, the weapon system on this requires quite a lot of CP, and that's generally due to the fact that you've got the one weapon system on the whole thing, so it just takes everything up. You got a lot of slots, which is quite nice. 7 in total. You have got intercept, which is fantastic. It's surprising to me that you don't see more of them at 3 CP with the intercept and stuff on them, especially now with the AA changes, meaning that the intercept should be row wide on these. So you could have 15 FG300s with row wide intercept, and these go up to, you know, a reasonable amount. So yeah, consider it. It could be fun. So the way I build these is to do as much as possible with as little time as possible. And generally, I'd like to build them against AA. Mostly because the guns aren't particularly great. The priorities, small ship, they will hit Corvette and fighter in the counter-attack. And that's kind of like how I like to build them, just to shoot corvettes and fighters when they come in for that counter. But generally speaking, and that's mostly because you just don't do enough damage. I'd recommend them probably building it 4 damage, going hit rate against frigates, destroyers, both of them, double cooldown, picking up the intercept, and then You've got, 4 slots. You've got 3 slots left. Double damage doesn't make too much sense here, because at 25 damage per hit, you're going to get 2.5 damage for both of these. So both of them brings you up to 30 damage, which isn't really here nor there. And this is where I pick up double hit rate against frigates destroyers, and I'll pick up the rapid fire just because I just don't see much value coming out of the damage whatsoever. Whereas the rapid fire, you're going to get a little bit of a burst damage output for that massive cooldown reduction for a little bit. But generally speaking, don't expect these to be damage dealers whatsoever. You might be able to expect them to do okay with intercept for quantity, for CP cost. They might be okay now. Armored type, basically the same thing, except you lose the evasion here. Which is a bit of a shame. So going into the armor system here, going triple HP is what I recommend. You actually start with quite a healthy amount of HP for a frigate. It's got an extra 2,000 over the base FG300. With triple HP mods, which you can definitely put on here, and one of the physical resist mods, you go up to 18 armor. You can argue going triple armor here, because it will give you an extra 9 armor, bringing you up to 24 armor, which is actually pretty good for a frigate. But at the same time, that's really only going to be effective early game. And as soon as destroyers drop, which I still class as early game, but not that early, that armor is just basically made relatively worthless. Again, things like Xeno Stingers are still probably going to be meta even at their CP cost. Ruby Ion, I still think will be meta at their CP cost. So your energy damage is just going to go through and ignore this armor anyway. You don't have any energy sealed either way. After that, into its weapon system, you've got 8 slots to play around with on this one, which is absurd realistically. You have missile intercept with a 2% chance, which is fantastic. There's a lock-on efficiency for anti-aircraft. You go for destroyer frigate over corvette fighter, which is a bit of a shame. It's a shame that they don't have something to prioritize fighters on these. I think it'd be really good. But, there it is. My recommendation here, pick up the 4 hit rates again. Pick up the double cooldown for your 6 slots. Pick up the intercept for your 7th slot, and for your 8th slot, pick up the lock-on efficiency. This will help it when it is doing the counter-attack on enemy aircraft. The damage, again, is the same as before, plus you've lost one of the ultra-fire general cannons, and you've got these anti-aircraft cannons, which they don't do much, whereas, you lose... Yeah, you lose, like, one of the big cannons, unfortunately, so you like... A third of your damage output is disappeared for, a tiny amount of AA. And, you'd rather the big cannons firing at the AA, to be honest. It might actually do something. So, again, not particularly great, but that is the armor type. Again, propulsion, the same as before. Probably go double warp speed and single cruising speed nowadays. Recon type, this has the augmented engine, which is quite nice. You got a base 20% evasion here, which is not too bad, and you can pick up an extra 16 evasion, bringing you up to 36 evasion, which isn't too bad, and a further 2.6 times 3. God, why would they do that to me? 6, 7, 8.2, I think. 8.2% evasion. Bringing you up to 44.2% evasion, which is actually not bad and not, terrible. If you want a pseudo Corellian special, this can work in a pinch, but I'm telling you it's a pinch. It doesn't really do the job of the special Corellian of that front row tank. You can get 15 of them, though, for 3 CP, so there is that. So it is viable. To an extent on the very, very early servers, your first server, your second server, maybe your third server. After that, I generally wouldn't consider these as, like, I wouldn't really run any of the FG300s except out of a meme setup of just running 45, 45 of them for fun. So yeah, after that, again, your 8 slots, so, you know, it's pretty much the same as before. Picking up all 4 of the hit rates, in my opinion, double cooldown, and that's 6 slots. Your intercept for 7 slots. And your lock-on efficiency for 8 slots, because this, again, has some AA weapons. And even worse than the armored, you've lost another cannon. So you're down to 1/3 of the base version's damage potential. Not that there is any damage potential, really, in these. So, yeah. What can I say? It's the FG300. It's a free ship. They give it for free. It used to have a purpose as a recon ship. Doesn't have a purpose as a recon ship now. The FG300 is a meme ship, and I'm all here for meme fleets. Don't get me wrong. I love meme fleets. They're funny. But yeah, it's a shame. The FG300 really could do with some love. I'd love to see this thing's damage, like on the multi-roll. I'd love to see these go up to like 50 damage per hit, just double the damage output on it, bring the CP up to like 4-5 CP. Even like there, you'd be looking at 2,000 damage. And if you like compare that to a Ruby, it's still lower, but I think that might be like usable then, because that's 15 of them. Instead of, you know, just 10 at 5 CP, 15 at 4 CP with 2,000 damage DPM on them. It could be something. So, I don't know. We'll have to see. I don't think they'll ever change it, which is a shame as well. This is one of the coolest ships maxed out. I'm in the hub now, so I can't even max it out to show it off to you. I have got a maxed out ship video somewhere. Just search it on my channel. I'm sure it'll find it. And I do show off the FG300 maxed out. It's a really cool looking ship maxed out. And it's just a good looking ship in the first place, I think. It's just well designed. But yeah. So that is the FG300. I know, again, I said it in the Corellian video. I'm saying it again. These aren't the videos you guys probably want. You do want the rating and the tier lists updated. I will get around to it. I've got tier lists for all of them going to be done as soon as I can. I want to do a tier list for the light cone, the best AA ships to pair with it in that mid row for that fleet row support. That's going to take a hell of a lot of work. I've got to basically test every ship in the game to see which ones, mid-row ones, can work with it and just, like, dominate the... Because we can work that out, like, 3 light cones and, like, 10 ships, and it can take out a swarm. Oh, it's going to be beautiful. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.